Hey everyone, thank you for stopping by Living to Do's review of The Chi, Season 6, Episode 7 called Long Live. Before I get started with the review, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it and I thank you in advance, so let's go. So, this is the sad funeral that we've all been waiting for all season. And in the first episode, we see Papa in church crying for the loss of his dad, the pastor of the church. And he has his friends come in, Jake and Kevin, to support. And they sit behind him just to be there for him. But Papa wanted to be alone. But they're all three of them, good buddies their whole life. And then later, Bakeri comes in. He comes in as the guys are leaving. Jake and Kevin. Did you notice Jake's overalls? Are those coming back? I know it's a sad scene, but I just noticed he was wearing overalls.
Yeah, I think we've seen him in overalls a couple
times. Have we? Okay, that was the first time I really noticed it. Okay. And Bakeri doesn't greet them. He walks away from them, but he goes to Papa, and Papa's mad at him because Papa knows that Bakeri deals with the people that had something to do with his dad's death. And Pastor Stanley was like a father to Bakeri, but Papa, he was my dad. And I think that kind of stings stings Bakeri. But dang, dude, that's his whole dad that you killed him over what? You and your people. But I guess Bakeri understands and he leaves. And then he goes over to Nuck, to the chop shop where Nuck hangs out, and that other little guy, I don't remember his name. The one that possibly had something to do with the killing. I'm not sure.
I believe it's Nook's right hand.
Yeah, Nook's right hand, that little guy. But the thing is, the guy looked a little, even though he was small and in stature, those legs look pretty strong. That man was nearly over 300 pounds that you had to hold him back to choke him to death like that. And I just think that Douda, he has the strength to do that. I don't know. I wonder if we're going to find out. Interesting. I know Nook didn't do it because Nook is bigger than what we saw of the killer.
I believe it's the other guy. Whatever the dude's name is, I believe it's that guy.
Yeah, whatever his name is. But Bakeri went up there with guns in their face, and he's mad. Why did you, kill the Jackson father? What's his name? Stanley Jackson? Why just, kill him? Family was off limits from what he understood. And then Nook says, if you kill me, this little guy's going to kill you. And he put a gun in Bakeri's face. So Bakeri backed off. And Nook said, you ever do that again, he'll kill him. Because the little guy says, we're your family. They always do that when they're in gangs and stuff. Do the most horrendous things to other people and talk about we're family. Ugh. That was his father. He was living there. So after that, we see Keisha and Emmett fighting. Keisha wants to leave because she feels her family's in danger with dealing with Douda. Of course, that should have never happened. So she's threatening to leave. But he talks her out of it and she's just going to stay in the guest bedroom. Okay, so after she calms down, she texts somebody. And we later find out it looks like it was Nuck that she texted. Because she meets him in a barbershop.
And they go to the back room that's owned by Q's mother.
Not Q's mother.
Or Q's sister.
Yeah, that's right, Q's sister. Well, everybody knows about it. It ain't a secret, that lounge. And they talk because she wants Nook to make sure that her family is safe. And he was saying he got her at first. Didn't he say that?
And then, or he said he wouldn't let anything happen
yeah.
to her. And then she said, "You already did."
You already did.
Now she has a kid because
Yeah. And she's not going to just, things are going to happen to her family and you're going to come back around with your little apologies years later. That's what he did at the party, at her housewarming. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. So, yeah, you got to do more than that. So we have a scene with Jake and Victor. And Victor reluctantly tells Jake about the body that he dumped, Q's body. So that's another person you told. You got a big mouth. Stop talking. Okay, so I don't know what's going to come of that because Jake doesn't want him to confess because he'll go to jail and he's serving the people. After all the people had gone to his office after Papa's father died, because I don't know why you run to the city council. What do you think they can do for you? So all he can think of to do is do a visual for Papa's father. But I guess he can help in other ways, and just not in that scenario, but whatever comes up, there's other things he can do. He wants to help, and you can't help if you confess to this crime. He basically said that, Douda picked him up. He was in the car, and he heard a thump, and they got out of the car, and he saw that it was Q, and he shot him. Q shot him. No, not Q. Douda shot Q in the car, and he helped dump the body. So, all right. I know in the future episodes they're going to make a big thing about that. All right, so we have Papa. He's at his house mourning the loss of his father, and he has Kenya, his friend, kind of girlfriend, not really, over, and she's there to be with him, and he barks at her. He's very rude to her and tells her that, the last time I spoke to my father was about you. He didn't think I should be with you, and my dad was right. Those are just harsh things to say to this girl who hasn't done anything to you. But those were the final words to his father. It doesn't mean what was going to happen to him was going to happen to him. That wasn't going to save his life, but that's his last memory, so it hurts. And then she leaves crying out of his house because she has, a kid, and he's too young for that. Keisha is in therapy. She's continuing to go to therapy. And while she's in therapy, she's talking to her therapist about the situation that's going on in her house. She tells her therapist, she doesn't tell her the details. She just tells her what's going on in her house, that something that Emmett did, and they later talk and find out that Keisha's parents, when they were together, the father handled all the business, and they ended up divorcing. I don't know what the reason was for the divorce. But then her mom was handling, had to step in and handle all that. And why is she so mad at her mom?
Because her mom said...
Well, what did she tell the therapist about her mom? Oh, she says, for some reason, maybe she felt like an obligation, her mother didn't have time for her. And the therapist sensed that the mom was the first person to break her heart. And so she takes on these romantic relationships thinking she's mending her heart with them. And that happens happens to so many people. Probably 90% of the population are all mentally unhealthy. So that's what she's doing. And Keisha never thought about her life like that. And so the therapist has asked Keisha to invite her mom to a session. Keisha says, at first she wants it to be all about her. But the therapist really recommends that the mom comes so they can get to the bottom of things. So the mom does come, Nina. Nina comes, and they discover that Nina never really wanted kids. She wanted to travel, explore her... Well, what happened was she gets an attitude at first. And the therapist says, talk to Keisha like she's not your daughter. So she starts telling her about herself. person to person, not mother to daughter, I guess. And it's discovered that she wanted to travel and she wanted to explore her sexuality. Um, okay, and I think Keisha has a better understanding of her mom. She was an obligation. She just came home from work and had no energy for her. Um, but her mother is more than her mother. Her mother is also a person, and I guess that's what the therapist is trying to get Keisha to see. So I think it helped a lot. Maybe it helped both of them. The next thing we have Darnell and Emmett, and they talk about, Emmett, he's kind of beating around the bush. There is something on his mind. He finally tells, he doesn't tell his dad all the details about the money or nothing, but he says he got in a fight with Keisha, that she wanted to leave. And there's an issue there because, Darnell says he's Team Keisha, whatever it is. But he's still being a good dad, a good person. These are things I never thought of Darnell first season, whatever season he showed up in.
This is the season of Darnell.
Yes, yes. Darnell evolved. That is what we're seeing. He is telling Emmett that they can work on this together. What are their plans? And Emmett says that he wants to buy out Douda. How? You don't even realize how much underwater you are. You just kept on taking stuff, buying cars and houses. You must be in the red. You don't have that kind of money to buy him out.
Is Smokey's that profitable?
Smokey's? Come on. No, it isn't. And I don't know if Douda's going to let you buy him out. But, Darnell is, he's there for Emmett. So, okay. We'll see how that plays out. I wonder what he really going to... Someone has to kill Douda. That's the only way out.
For anyone.
For anyone.
For everyone.
For everyone, including Nuck. We have Maisha and Gemma in the studio. And Gemma is late. She finally comes in and Maisha wants to know, why are you late? Reluctantly, it comes out that Gemma was working with, she was talking to Bakeri's sister. It looks like it's her new, what do you call that? New
artist.
New artist. Oh, Maisha don't. She had a little bit of an attitude at the party when the girl performed, and she aight.
Yeah, that little she aight.
She aight. And Maisha wants her to concentrate on her and her work, but Gemma says she could have two artists. That's not a problem. But they kind of get into it. I think in her heart and her inside, Maisha's a little heated because she gets it. She's in studio. She's just waiting to record. So they press record and she lights up. She's on fire. I don't know if this was a freestyle or she planned to say what she said.
No, that was a freestyle.
That was a freestyle. That was directed.
Everyone was like, what?
What? The little engineer, whoever that guy is
like,
bopping his head like, all right now.
Hi, Maisha. Oh, no.
And Jake doesn't want Gemma to work with Bakeri's sister. They're hearing her music. He says she sounds like everybody else on the radio. And then Gemma's trying to, she thinks that Jake might be possibly jealous. And that pisses Jake off. I ain't jealous of no girl. That's where we're going to go. There's the tension that's going to...
next season.
Yeah, or the coming episodes. There's the tension. Maisha's against it. Jake's against it. But... Kevin's leaving. Will Gemma get in a relationship with Bakeri's sister? All signs are pointing towards that it could happen. Or it could appear like it's happening and it will cause a rift. Oh, Rashad. He had a break-in his house. He's on the couch. Him and his girlfriend fell asleep on the couch. It's at night. and somebody's trying to get in the house. And while his girl's sleeping, he slides over to that vent that he was conveniently sitting next to.
He was placed perfectly.
Yes, product placement. He gets into that vent and gets that duffel bag and gets a shotgun. Goes out the door and threatens to, shoot whoever's there. Meantime, Deja, his girlfriend's waking up seeing this bag of guns, and she's like, "What is that? Where'd you get this gun?"
She didn't even hear the break-in.
Oh my no, she didn't hear that.
She just sees Rashad come back with a shotgun.
What is that? She got a bag of guns in her house that she didn't know about. She's like, "You gotta get those guns out of here. Out of here. And, or you gotta go." And she says, "Tonight. Get these guns out tonight." So he takes the bag of guns and he finds Bakeri somewhere.
At the
lounge?
with Papa.
Was that at the church or at the lounge?
It was at, they were viewing, his body, I believe.
Was that the wake?
I believe so. And he just walks outside, and then there's Rashad. Hops out, opens the trunk, take these bags. Can't have these bags over here.
Bakari's like, "What? You can't do this here. What? What? That's a you problem. Keep it over there."
You just threw the bag at him.
Was Rashad just walking down the street?
He parked across the street. He walked up to him and said, "You better take these guns."
You know what? I love Jason Weaver, who plays Rashad. I've loved him as a kid. He's growing up. And I'm just looking at him all the time, and he just reminds me of somebody. And for all that know, he reminds me of Lamont that played in Sanford and Son. He just looks like him a little bit. But anyway, so Bakeri takes those guns and he goes to Lynae's house. He goes to her house, gets to her house, goes through her window. Like, this is something he always does. Because Lynae's sitting there. She ain't even trying to, like, find out who it is. It's like,
she ain't phased.
It's like, okay, this must have happened all the time, right? And she's like, "Why would you, don't bring that here. Don't put this in my house. Why would you put me in danger?" He goes, "I wouldn't ask you if it wasn't important. Yeah, you putting her in danger. Why can't you dig a hole and bury those guns? You know what I'm saying? Goodness." So he puts them in her closet. Now something's gonna happen. I don't know if there's gonna be a raid. I think Nina is gonna be doing her laundry. Lynae's laundry, putting something away, finds a duffel bag, a dirty duffel bag, might feel on it, maybe open it up, and will be shocked. Lynae, you may not have a place to stay after this, because that's egregious. That's just doing too much.
She's going to have to go with Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's going to have to go with Kevin.
Oh, goodness. So I know something's going to happen about that. And there was a wake that Papa's father Stanley had. And this is where Bakeri and Papa they come together. At first he was mad, but now, he was grieving too. So they hug it out. They definitely hugged it out, and they're both, in pain. And, it has something to do with Bakeri, the people he works for. So Papa and his mother have a big heart to keep Bakeri in that house. They lost their, violently.
And then right after that moment, Bakeri gets the guns back. It's just like, the timing is just horrible.
Right. It is.
You can see how it affected Papa's house, Rashad's house.
Everybody. Douda is unnecessary. Okay. So, speaking of Douda, we see Douda and Nuck and the possible killer of Papa's father in the lounge playing chess. And this is the only... Oh, no, that's not the only scene. But we see Douda talking to... This kid wants to learn how to play chess, and he acts like he doesn't have time. He's just laying on the lounge chair, probably thinking of his next killer move. But he explains as they're playing... Nook is playing with this guy. And as they're playing, Douda advises them, use your queen. Don't protect her. sacrifice the ones you love to win the game. So that is an analogy for life.
That's how Douda's playing his game.
That's how he's playing it. Hear that, Tracy? You his
Tracy
queen.
Don't hear that.
So will Nook not protect Keisha? That was interesting. Somebody's not going to get protected. Sacrifice the ones you love? Jesus.
Nook don't love nobody.
Nobody. Okay, so that was interesting. So we have Victor. He's meeting with Fatima's friends, or somehow her mother, her people. And I guess they think that he is going to ask for her hand in marriage. He wasn't, but he is thinking about the future, and he wants to have kids with her. So I guess, how are we going to do this? Adoption? Or a surrogate for him? I don't know. Because he doesn't have kids. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. So, and later he talks to Fatima. She doesn't seem all excited about this, but I think she kind of comes around. They're playing that, playing house like it's... Anyway. No, it's just that she was home doing the homemaking. The better side, or the American side of a little American family. That's what she's trying to have, I think. So we go to the funeral. The funeral is all white. Everybody's wearing white. Emmett and Keisha get there, and Emmett, I guess they didn't come together. When he sees her, he gets up to her and says, "Look, if you ever talk to Nook again, we done." And she said, "I had to do something to save us." Actively. She's actively working on it. So that's what she had to do. Oh my goodness. Your life is in danger. Do you just depend on somebody you couldn't depend on in the past who actually put you in danger? You need to be active for your own self, don't you think?
And then she says, "I'm protecting us." What happened last time Nook was a protector?
Yeah.
You got a baby now.
Yes. And who shows up at this funeral also dressed in all white? How did he get the memo for that? Nobody talks
Probably
to you.
because he did it.
Yeah, but we know he's dead, but you were talking to people and they come in all white. So did Nook, and so did the possible killer. They were also there. And
the killer is Douda or the little dude.
Right, one of the two. And Douda says something to Papa's mother, the widow, and Sister Jackson, and she says, she just looks at him, "Get out." What made you think you would be welcome? He tells her, "I had nothing to do with the death." Somebody's lying. If somebody in that church is also the killer, be it you or that little guy you brought. One of the two. And my bet is on you right now. And I'm so glad she said something. He just, But also Kenya showed up. Papa's little girlfriend, friend girl, dressed up in all white. And she was in attendance while Papa went up on to the altar, and he got there. He spoke. We tried to speak, and he was just crying, at first. And his two friends came up, stood behind him for support. Kevin and Jake, great friends. And I guess Papa gave the eulogy for his father's funeral, and they showed him being buried, and that was it. It was, it was bittersweet because we all knew it was going to happen. And it was a death, and it was a killing, actually. It wasn't just a death, it was a killing of someone of the community. And that was how they ended the show. I think, this was episode 7. I think there's one more episode before the mid-season finale. So let's see if it goes out with a bang or not, a cliffhanger. Because I don't know when it comes back. So what did you think of the show?
This was a great episode. Very sad. And the next episode's going to be great. Because they're going to have to be a cliffhanger, so we're going to have to see what it is.
Yeah.
Is Papa going to be a killer next episode?
Ooh. Papa going to take revenge out? But he don't know who exactly did. Well, you know what? If Papa kills Douda?
That's what I hope that happens. That's exciting.
Oh. And doesn't get caught. That would be the best. But it might be Bakeri because he's already killed someone once, he said, and I guess it only gets easier.
And then that his girlfriend's brother's gonna be like, you should have listened.
Yeah.
If that is him.
Yeah. Let's see if Bakeri stays with his killing folks, or if he moves on and can evolve and be a better him. Let's see what happens. Is Gemma gonna work with Maisha and Bakeri's sister? Who's gonna have a hit first so she don't have to go back to school?
What's gonna happen with Emmett?
What's
gonna happen with Keisha?
Yeah. Keisha and Emmett, are they going to stay together? How is he going to get out of this mess with Douda? A buyout? A buyout with what? What else?
Rashad. Getting
Rashad.
into his old ways.
Yes. Is this girlfriend going to keep him? Because she asked, what else do I not know about? And he said nothing. So it better be nothing. And let's see if Papa stays with Kenya, even though that was his father's last words, not to be with her. So a lot of things to look forward to. Kevin moving to California.
Is he bringing everyone with him?
Is he bringing all the youngins?
Is it going to be Chicago to LA like the shoes?
Yes. What is going to happen? Okay. Well, I guess that's it for now. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it, and I thank you in advance, but we got to go because why?
We got living to do.
Bye.